I just want to talk about the coronavirus situation. Um, Unless you've been living under a rock for the past 30 years, you know that we've got a coronavirus around the world, which is affecting people, and we're all on lockdown. I'm not saying that there isn't a coronavirus. I'm not saying that it isn't a serious issue. I just don't think that going on lockdown is the best way to solve it. I think that going on lockdown is going to make things worse, vastly worse than what they were before. Um, I think that the legacy of this virus is not the virus; it's the problems that are going to arise from that. You know, the drug addictions that are going to rise, the alcoholism, the poverty, the mental illness. You know, rates of domestic violence are going to go through the roof. All sorts of different problems that are going to arise from this. Mass unemployment, and a complete loss of purpose and meaning to people's lives, people that have had their businesses destroyed. Um, and I think it's going to make the whole thing worse. And again, I'm not saying that there isn't a coronavirus, but if you look at the amount of people that die from flu every single year, it's literally 10 times the amount than what die from coronavirus. Coronavirus is nowhere near as infectious and it's nowhere near as deadly as the flu. And there's plenty of other viruses that are more serious. So why have they decided to put the whole world on lockdown with this one? It just seems strange to me. And again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I'm not saying that there is a conspiracy behind this whole thing. I'm not saying that the government have got some kind of hidden agenda, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a hidden agenda there, if they're doing this on purpose to try and cause a global recession, or they're doing it because they're doing it as an excuse to bring in a cashless society. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not saying I've got any evidence for it. I'm not saying that is what's happening, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was, because it just seems very strange how they've decided to put the whole world on lockdown over something that is less serious than a lot of other viruses that are going around all year round and always have been around. People have been, I've said this to a couple of people who I know. I haven't seen many people since I've been on lockdown. I've only seen family members and stuff. But I've said it to a couple of family members and they said to me, well, they're doing this to save the NHS. They're doing it because if they didn't do this, then the NHS would go under. If they just let everybody off lockdown and let everybody go about their daily business, that it would cause so much coronavirus that it would end up overwhelming the healthcare system. But I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all, because they're not using any more of the resources now than what they usually use. They're only using the same amount of resources now that they've always used. And the people who they can't treat, they just send home and say, I'm sorry, we haven't got enough room for you. So they're sending a lot of people home and saying, sorry, we can't treat you. So I don't agree with this idea that it would end up overwhelming the healthcare system. I think that if lockdown ended tomorrow and everybody went back to their daily business and society was resumed as normal, I think we would deal with this just in the same way that we would deal with this very well, just like we deal with every other virus. Just like we deal with the flu very well and every other virus that there is. There's a pandemic every year in the Western world. There was a flu pandemic in 2014, and there's been plenty of other pandemics all over the place. And the healthcare system deals with them perfectly easily. And we don't hear anything about it. They don't write anything about it in the papers or anything like that. So yeah, I don't agree with this whole theory that this thing is as bad as they're saying it is. Again, I'm not saying it isn't a problem. I understand that people have died from it. I understand that, but I just think that the lockdown is very strange. It's the strangest thing that I've ever known politicians do in my entire life. I've never ever known anything like this, and I don't think anybody else has. I just wanted to get that off my chest, really, and to, because I've never made a YouTube video before, so I don't really know how to do it. I don't really know how to go about it, but this is my first time having a go at it, and I just wanted to try something new, really, and do it because just out of sheer boredom. So let me know what you think in the comments section below.